Hi, I'm Chris and welcome to this week's tutorial. Let's draw together.
In this video, we're going to be learning how to draw this cute little bird. It's part of the Cute and Quick series, and there's always going to be a part 1 and a part 2. So we're going to do the drawing part 1, and next time we'll do part 2 and we'll paint this in and complete it. So to do so, I'm going to be using all the goodies that are found in the Illustrator starter kit, and it's completely free. And it's available to you in the description below. You'll find a link there so you can go and grab all the tools that you'll need, the canvas, the brushes, and the swatches. So you can follow along and draw this with me. Or of course, you can always use any of the tools that you already have ready to go. So you can see I'm using my Living Water canvas. You can see the canvas texture on there. So I have that open. And I'm going to be using all the brushes here found in the Illustrator starter kit. I'm also going to be using the Quick Daily Sketches swatches. Okay, so let's get started. I'm just going to use this brown to start with. And I'm also going to use the sketching pencil from the Cute Character class sample here. Okay, so let's just start. I think my size of pencil is around a 30, but use whatever's comfortable to you. So our little bird is going to be sitting on an L-shaped branch. So let's just draw just sort of a simple L shape. That's where our branch will go. And they'll be sitting here. So let's just start with sort of a circle, just kind of get warmed up, be really loose. And then let's bring this out into a more oval shape. Well, a little bit elongated, sort of more of an egg shape, really. This is going to be a pretty simple little bird. Okay, so then his little face is going to be up here, so his little teeny beak. So I'm going to make it ridiculously small because it's going to make it look even cuter. Little eyes are going to be closed. He's going to be sunning himself, basically. So I'm going to just sort of start to define where you actually want your shape to be. I like just being really rough and loose at the beginning because I think it gives you more freedom and more of a loose look. It's not too rigid. Okay, that's good. And then let's just bring out some simple little shapes here for little tail feathers. I'm just going to do 1 and 2. I want to have a little bit of a gap here in between so it can read the shape, something like that. And ridiculously little feet right there. Now I realize I'm not touching the branch, so I'm going to have to bring my branch up. That's all right. That's what this part is about, having it nice and loose. Let's just get the little wings here. Just use the curve of your hand. And then let's just have this really simple. So I'm going to have this and then a scoop here, like a little feather there, a little feather there. 1, 2, 3. And then a few little scoops here. Just a hint to add a few little feathers there. Okay, I think I'm just going to bring this eye a little bit lower. Again, that amps up the cute factor. So just about there. And give him a little hairdo. Beauty. All right. I think that's good. Okay, so this will make sure that this is up a little bit higher, little branch here. So I can erase that if it's annoying there. So have it sort of curving up a little bit. I think that helps with your composition, kind of keeping things going around circular. So pointing up, and we'll have a little leaf there. So just draw a leaf shape. Be a little leaf here. 1 here. Have, I don't know, maybe like little berries, something like that. One kind of going a little longer. Maybe some little berries. It just gives it another texture. I think it adds a nice element to it. Just having a few little dots. Just gonna have have this one come here. And this, maybe we'll just sort of end it like that. You have another little branch part coming up here. Like that. A little leaf there. And there. Adding a few little dots just for little berries. So you see how that kind of works. It's a nice circular motion, just bringing that composition together. Even though it's fairly simple, it just reads really nicely. You can see the shape really clearly of the bird, which is great. A little extra detail just makes it interesting. And that works for a nice little sketch. I'm just going to move it to the center. I'm just using my arrow just to move it around. And there we go. So I'm just going to tap on this N here and turn the opacity down of our sketch layer so we can just go over top and create a new layer and do our final line work. So again, I'm using this brown color here, and I'm still going to use this sketching pencil. We can just go and make some nicer line work. So I'm just not going to be too exact about it. Just keep it a little bit loose. We're actually going to go over this twice with another brush. Just give it sort of a little bit more of a vintagey sort of rough look. So you don't have to be exact with your lines. You can be sketchy, but not as sketchy as we were being before, of course, because you actually are wanting to choose where this line is going to go. So just have it like that. Here I'm going to break off. I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm going to come down here and make it so it's connected there. Like that. Okay, and we can do the eye. So just make sure it's a nice scoop. And then we're just going to go and just allude to sort of some eyelashes. So I'm just having it, I'm not actually doing individual lashes, just kind of having it sort of fluffy there. Some scribbles. Just so it kind of works. I'm going to make sure that this underneath is a little bit more defined. Under here. Maybe give it a little bit of a shadow there. Okay. Now for this. Little feet, you can kind of go like that. It doesn't really make any sense, but maybe if we went one over here, that would probably be a little bit better. Okay. All right, so while we're here, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this as well. I'm going to take this rough sketcher. You can turn off your sketch layer here. So with this rough sketcher, let's see the size of it. So it's much too large. Maybe about 2%. Whatever works for you, so it's not like going way out. So this is just going to give it, I'm just rubbing it over basically, just scribble, scribble. It's just going to give it this added texture and sort of more of a vintagey feel. It's quite soft. I'm just going over what I've done, just really loosely. You just do it nice and quick. Also, you can use it for shading too if you want. Gives it a little more grit. Okay. You can really, like I said, shade sort of underneath here if you want. Depends how grungy you want it to be. Okay, just get these feathers in here. make sure that this is nice and fluffy. Okay, so it's starting to look good. Oops, little feet. Okay, looking good. Let's go and turn back the sketch layer again, and we can go back to our sketching pencil hard, and now we'll do our branch and our leaves. So let's just make sure that this actually does connect here. This poor thing isn't floating. Okay, and then these, you know, can have them connecting. If you want them floating or connected, it's up to you. You can have a little stem there. I'm just going to use my eraser because I didn't quite do that here. So just bring up your little stems here and go. Just have your leaf. Now you can have them smooth, or you can have a little edge to them. And make it your own. Actually, I'm going to have to make sure I have a little bit of thickness to this because it's got to go all the way up, so it wouldn't be completely just a line, right? You want a little bit of thickness. Getting smaller as you go to the top. And then this one will be off here. Okay. These can float too. Again, like I said, you can have them attached like this, or you can have them floating. Doesn't have to be super realistic. Okay. I don't want these lines to touch here, actually. I want either them to pass through like this or to be underneath, but just not, you know, if you know what I mean, just not like lined up like that. Look really odd. So have it either going below, I think is probably going to read the best. And you can make it kind of jog, you know, how branches do, if you want. Add that. If it's more angular, that gives it a little bit of kind of what, if you look at a branch, that's kind of what it does. Okay. And then okay. There, that's looking good. Can turn off our sketch layer. I think we're probably done with our sketch layer. So we can just leave that. And then we're gonna go back, just like we did before with a rough sketcher, and just go over this. Like I said, you can use it for a little bit of shading if you want. Just when you're shading, just make sure it's, well, not make sure, but just in this instance, I'm gonna just do it sort of on one side. So always to the left, so it's consistent with a lighting scheme. So you'll have one light on this side, dark on that side. So I'm just keeping that consistent, and it'll read like it makes a little bit more sense. So maybe I just might make the underside a little bit darker to have that shadow. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty cute, and I think we feel pretty good about that. You can always experiment too, which I like to do sometimes, is just duplicate the layer to see if that really bumps it up even more, which of course it does. So depending on what kind of look you want, just try that. And you can also tap on the end and change the opacity. Maybe you don't want it quite as thick, maybe more like this. Just play with that, because that can really just add another depth and just a little bit more boldness to your sketch. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to end this video. So again, there will be a part 2 coming up, and if it's out already, it will be linked below. So if you hit the bell icon and subscribe, then you'll be notified of the new tutorial, which would be great, so we can finish this all up. And of course, if you could give it a like, that would be amazing. It really helps me out as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's little birdie drawing. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.